What's up, gamers? Going to do a really quick and dirty review of these Beyerdynamic 770 Pro 250 ohm headphones. So yeah, first let's unbox these and then we'll see how they are. And I'll do a comparison between some headphones that I already own. I'll also go over how these sound on my current setup using the GoXLR and the GoXLR Mini. Now on to the unboxing. So yeah, I got these headphones on a recommendation from a friend. I was looking for some closed headphones for my setup because I have open headphones, but they haven't been good for my use case recently, which is streaming. So I need something to block out some background noise so I can focus in more on what I'm doing, focus in more on the audio. I'm also doing a bit of voice acting these days, so I needed something a bit more analytical than what I had, which were the HD598s, these bad boys here. These have served me well. I've had these for about 10 years and they've served me well. I think there is something wrong with one of the drivers, the left one. I think it's a little buzzy now. But that could be something wrong with the audio interface. I'm not sure yet. So these are 250 ohm headphones. Those ones are 50 ohms. So very different in terms of how much output power you need to drive them. So these are much harder to drive, these ones. So I'm also going to see if my current interface here, my audio interface, the GoXLR, is capable of driving these. I've heard it should be okay, but we'll see, you know. We'll see how they work. So opening the box, we got this, a bit of cardboard with the headphones. I think I can use that as a stand if I wanted to. That's kind of cool, I guess. Budget stand until you get a real one. But yeah, to be honest, they'll probably just stay on my desk like this. Anyway, this is supposed to be a quick and dirty review, so let's not talk too much. So, okay, you've got to open the box here. I have no idea what kind of peripherals it comes with. It looks like nothing. It looks like just the headphones. That's okay. I got these for £118. They're on sale. First impressions, these are big old chunky headphones. These are big old chunky headphones. So you know, I need a knife to open this tape. They put a lot of tape around this plastic here. There we go. Yeah, big old chunky headphones. The wire is coiled. I kind of think I like that. It's got one of these on the end. Can that be screwed off? It can be, nice, because I'm going to use the 3.5mm to plug in right here. That plugs into the GoXLR. Okay, that's cool though, that you've got two different types of connector here, if you want to use the fatter connector. Now let's inspect the headphones themselves. Let's check them out. So they feel kind of high quality. Wow, I feel a bit of clamping force there that I quite like, to be honest. Probably more clamping force than I've ever had in a pair of headphones. I've always thought I would like more clamping force, though. I always thought the headphones I had were pretty low on clamping force. I would have liked more, so these might be right up my street. These are closed back headphones, so they're going to isolate you from outside noises by a certain amount. I've heard it has about, 10 to 18 decibel reduction, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but something like that to outside noises. Sounds pretty good to me. The cushion feels good. We'll see how long that lasts. Very springy. Looks like it's going to provide a lot of support. And there's actually some padding in the top here. It looks like this unbuttons. Let's undress this. Let's undress this thing. See what's underneath here. I'm intrigued. Can that just come off? Yeah, like I know basically nothing about these headphones. I got these on recommendation from a friend, and after just a bit of light research, so yeah, it looks like that. Okay, to get this off, it looks like you have to unscrew these screws. So we can't undress this, but you can see here it has a metal headband, and that provides a good bit of clamping force. Cool. Yeah, and this material here seems like pleather. Seems like it's fairly high quality. Okay, you got some symbols there, left and right, the Beyerdynamic logo. You got this logo here, which I kind of wish it didn't have this, because I would just prefer if it were black, but it is their headphone. They want to show it off, Beyerdynamic, so I guess I can live with the branding. This plastic here, this is the kind of like high quality mold plastic you have on equipment that's meant to last, has this kind of plastic, whatever this is. That feels like good quality plastic. It feels like it's going to last. It feels rugged. Texture plastic on the side here, more textured up here. This is smooth plastic here, rubberized plastic on the logo. Material quality actually seems way higher than I was expecting for the money, to be honest. I'm kind of impressed by that. So this has a cable, non-removable. That's not much of an issue for me. It might be for you. We've got a coiled cable here. The high quality coiled cable seems high quality to me. And there's the end connector there. Standard end connector. Yeah, so it's not much of an issue for me that it has a non-removable cable, because I basically leave my headphones there. And then when I'm not using the pair of headphones, say I switch them out for my opened ones, I'll just pop it down there under my desk there. I do have a closed set over here that I've been using. These are my girlfriends, I've been borrowing these. Honestly, they sound terrible, but I was just testing the closed nature to see if I really did need a pair of closed headphones. It wasn't just my imagination, the opens were not working for my use case. Saying that though, I will probably still use the open pair, the HD 598s, when I don't want the closed feeling, because when you put on a pair of closed headphones, at least with these ones, it's kind of like a weird claustrophobic feeling you might get sometimes, especially if you're like eating. That's the worst. Eating with a pair of closed headphones, it feels like you're eating underwater. So if I'm eating, I will switch over to those if I'm eating while working or eating while watching something on YouTube or something. For working though, I really do find value in the closed nature of those headphones because I can focus in on my work much more easily. The fan noises don't distract me. Outside noises don't distract me. Don't get distracted by, you know, dogs barking or anything like that. I get distracted quite easily. Velour padding, I actually like velour padding the most. My other headphones have velour padding too. I just find it's the most comfortable. It's kind of like quite a hard wearing but very soft, comfortable material and perfect for at desk use, you know, at PC use, I think. I think that's actually a really good material choice. Now opening these, there's some kind of soft sort of felty material covering the drivers. And this won't be a teardown or anything. I'm not going to open these up. I'm not going to look at the drivers or anything like that. There are hinges here. A bit of limited range on their hinges, to be honest, but that should be fine for me. Maybe if you have a really strange shaped head, there might not be enough movement here, because I've just noticed other headphones a lot of the time have more movement here than these do. But that shouldn't be a problem for me anyway. Don't know about you guys. You might have strange shaped heads. Mine's only a little strange, but it's within the normal parameters, I think. Anyway, we got two exposed cables here. These could get caught on something and then come out or rip off or something, potentially, but they seem pretty in there, to be honest. You know, if you're worried about that, you're probably being a bit paranoid. But yeah, build quality seems better than I was expecting for the money. Like, these were 118, they're on sale. I think they usually go for about 120 to 130 right now. So, got the 250 ohm version. Now, if you look on the box, it says that the 250 ohm version are the ones you want for studio and hi-fi. And I'm using these in kind of a studio setting. Well, it is a studio setting. I'm using these for work, for analyzing audio, for streaming and that kind of thing. So I thought I'll go for the 250 ohm. Now, they might not be able to be driven by my GoXLR. We'll have to see about that. They might not get loud enough. But if that is the case, I guess I'm just going to save up and get a amplifier, a headphone amplifier, from the likes of Shit. That is a brand, by the way. I'm not saying a bad word. Shit. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but from the likes of Shit or what's that other brand? Fio. That's it. From the likes of Shit or Fio, I'll probably get a headphone amplifier if I need one, if I find I need one. If you're using these for mobile, you might want to get the 32 ohm version or the 80 ohm version. And if you want something that can be used on a multitude of devices with good quality, it looks like the 80 ohm are the ones you want to get. A lot of people actually recommend the 80 ohm over the 250 just for their versatility. But because I'm planning to use these in a studio setting, I'm just thinking I should go for the 250. If I can't drive them, I'll find a way. Yeah, the 250 are supposed to offer the most detail if you're trying to listen in on the audio for mixing purposes. And I will be using these for a bit of mixing.
But how do they look on your head?
Like this. Okay, so they're on my ears. That I can immediately feel the sound isolation. But I need to adjust these a little bit. So how is the adjustment? We haven't actually looked at that yet. How far does that adjust? It adjusts about that far. So that looks like a good range of adjustment there. Now, I usually do about 8 clicks on my headphones. Let's see if that suits me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I think 5 will be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a large head, but not extra large. Yeah, for 5 clicks for me, that seems about right. The cable comes out the left-hand driver. I prefer that on my headphones. I got headphones over there that comes out the right. Feels terrible for some reason. I don't know why. I prefer it coming out the left side. I am right-handed, and I prefer a left side cable. But probably because I'm using this hand like that. And then this, if it's on the right side, it's just like I'm trying to wrestle with a snake or something. That's them from the side. I hope my posture's good. Is my posture good? Looks pretty good, actually. But yeah, they're from the side. There we go. From behind. So I'm now going to plug these in and have a listen. I'll try to be as analytical as I can be. Have a listen here. See how it is. See if it works with the GoXLR. See if it can drive it. These ones, they're very easy to drive. These are Anker Soundcore Q30s. These are easy to drive. They're not great, the headphones, they're not. They're actually a really good set of Bluetooth ANC headphones for like listening, like casual listening, right? But at the PC, for what I'm doing, not great. Oh, hello there. Okay, so comfort-wise, just a note on comfort. Very comfortable. I'm digging the clamping force. I like to be clamped, and these have pretty good clamping force. And now the reason I like a good clamping force is because it keeps the band kind of resting more lightly on the top of your head. And the thing I hate most in a pair of headphones, this is just personally to me, is when the top band feels heavy and kind of pushes in on the top here. I can get very uncomfortable up here. Feels bad, it can give me a headache even. So this stronger clamping force, keeping that light up here, feels really nice. Now the padding on top, it's barely resting on my head with this clamping force, I've got to say. Barely resting, and they feel quite light on the head. What I like about these as well, because of the clamping force, they're really stable on your head. I can't do this with my other pairs of headphones. I can't get a little crazy. And I'm a streamer, right? So I'm like this. This is what we do while we're playing our games and stuff. And so that's amazing. If you want to rage out, you're a streamer. Fantastic that they stay on like that, basically. What's up, gamers? Here I am a few days later, back after testing the DT770 Pros. And I've got to say, they fit my use case really well, and they sound really, really good. Now, they do have a very different sound from what I'm used to with the Sennheisers. These are open back, and they've got very different sounding drivers. These are much more flat sounding, maybe even with a mid boost. Whereas these seem to kind of boost the trebles a little bit and maybe the low ends a bit. It's kind of like the mids feel a little recessed in the mix. But that does kind of help me when I'm tracking, when I'm recording vocals, because it kind of enhances any errors in the mix, like any kind of hisses or mouth noises or pops. You'll hear those more easily with these. So it's good for zoning in on errors, I've found. So I've been using these primarily for live streaming, and for that they are fantastic. The clamping force means they stay on your head really well, whatever you're doing on stream. The closed nature means it's really good for tracking your mix live. So for example, you can hear yourself very easily as long as you've got direct monitoring enabled, which my GoXLR does have, and also the Focusrite Solo, which is what I'm using right now to record this video, with the Rode Wireless Go as well. Yeah, both those devices have direct monitoring. I would recommend you have direct monitoring with these if you're using them for voiceover or live streaming, because otherwise you're not going to be able to hear yourself speak, which can be an issue, and is actually the reason I went for open headphones in the first place, is because I wanted to hear myself speak. Of course, later when I got better gear and everything with direct monitoring, it was then better to go for a closed set. I put these headphones through my normal headphone tests, which basically just include going through my headphone playlist on Spotify and listening to some tracks that I've listened to thousands and thousands of times. And I gotta say, these performed really well in terms of subjective audio quality. I mean, in the Eagles' Hotel California, for example, from the album Hell Freezes Over, which is a live album, I felt like I could feel every clap of the crowd, and there was a lot of detail in the mix there. I felt like I could hear everything in my favorite song, so that's all really good. I can highly recommend these for the purpose of studio use, tracking vocals, that kind of thing. Any application where you don't want the audio as well to bleed into the mic, because the noise isolation is quite good. I think you can get better noise isolation from other headphones, such as the Sony 7506s, I think they're called. Those offer some better sound isolation, I think. But I reckon if you switch these velour earpads out for some faux leather earpads, I think that would increase the noise isolation to a point where it would get very, very, very good. Currently, they're quite noise isolating, but it could be better. I've definitely had other headphones that isolate noise better. But a benefit of this is that these sound a little bit more open than a normal pair of closed studio headphones. And so I'm glad I picked these over maybe the Sonys or other brands that offer better noise isolation, because these do the job well enough and they give a bit of a more open sound. Now, as for the ability of my devices to drive these headphones, they can just about do it to an acceptable level. So like I said before, I'm using the GoXLR and also I use the Focusrite Solo. They both kind of drive these headphones to around the same level, which is just good enough, but there's definitely room for improvement there. And I think I will be getting a headphone amp in the future to help drive these. I think there will most likely be an improvement in audio quality if I get a more powerful headphone amplifier. However, my devices drive it to a level that it's not an urgent thing,
and so I'm probably going to wait quite a while before I invest in that. But it's something I probably will do, so just keep that in mind. You might want a headphone amplifier if you're going for the 250 ohm set. Now, if I went for the 80 ohm set, I reckon my current devices would be able to drive that set easily. So if you don't want to purchase extra devices such as headphone amps, then I can't recommend the 250 ohm version. Instead, you should go with the 80 ohm version, or perhaps the 32 ohm version. So, in summary, I found that these had really good sound quality. There was some recession in the mids compared to my Sennheiser set. The soundstage is not as good as an open set, but pretty good for a closed set. For gaming, they were immersive. For streaming, they were excellent. So yeah, overall, the performance of these was great for my use cases. If you're looking for better sound quality though, and listening in a quiet room, I would say go for an open set like perhaps the DT 880s. You're going to get better sound quality, you're going to get a wider sound stage. Make sure you're picking the right headphones for your use case, basically. Comfort and design. These are fantastic for long listening sessions. These really are comfortable. They can get a little stuffy and hot around the ears, but they're closed headphones. What can you expect, really? Clamping force is great. They stay on your head really well. Build quality is really fantastic for the price. Made of high quality materials. No complaints there. Coiled cable might be irritating to some. I've gotten used to it over a few days. At first it was catching my arm hairs, but I guess all the arm hairs that it caught got pulled out, and now it's not much of an issue anymore. So the coiled cable was okay for me in the end. So thumbs up for me on the comfort and build quality. Actually, 2 thumbs up. That's probably where these headphones shine in their price range. Features. To be honest, these aren't the most fully featured headphones. They're a very basic set of cans. They're just, you know, good sounding cans. They don't have any extra features. But if that's what you want, then who cares? Because that's, you know, they do the job, basically.
Value for money.
These can be found on sale quite often, and I would say their value for money is very, very good. I think these headphones, as a closed set, they're very, very hard to beat in their price range. These are pretty much as good as you can get for the money. So 2 thumbs up again for value for money. Now, are there comparable sets you could get for less money? I would say, yeah. I mean, you could get the Sony MDR 7506s. They would pretty much do the same job as these, and they're quite a bit cheaper. I think they can be found for like £85, so quite a bit cheaper than these. There are other options if you're on more of a budget, which might suit you better. But I would still say the value for money is very good on these for the build quality and the features they offer.
Final verdict and conclusion.
So final verdict is these are a very good pair of closed headphones, especially for the purpose of tracking. If you want a pair of closed headphones for PC usage, or usage with a headphone amp. Remember that you may need a headphone amp for these. Solid choice for a studio. And there are some minor drawbacks to these headphones compared to some other headphones maybe, depending on what you're looking for. But overall, these are quite an attractive package, and I would recommend them. These are what I chose. I don't think I'm going to be sending them back. I think I'm going to be keeping these for a long, long time. But I will be purchasing a headphone amp to drive these properly, because I got the 250 ohm version. It turns out that my hardware just about drives them to an acceptable level, but long-term use, I'm going to want a headphone amp. So keep that in mind. Don't go for the 250 if you don't also want to buy a headphone amp to go along with them. And yes, that was my DT770 Pro 250 ohm headphone review. There was some useful information there for you. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it with your friends. My socials are down in the description box. You can even join the Discord. We have a Discord community if you're interested in that, where we discuss many things, some of which are to do with, you know, content creation, gear as well. Please leave a comment if there's anything you would like to discuss about these headphones, or any other reason. To be honest, comments are always welcome. Final note, I am primarily a live streamer. If you're interested in watching epic gameplay of the best games on planet Earth, with fantastic commentary of course, then feel free to give me a follow on Twitch, and check out my YouTube lives as well. You can find those as well in the description box. And until next time, Karaku, bye-bye. See you in the next one, guys. Thank you for watching.